part of a conversation with my new friend Austin Sumrall, who is the chef and owner of White Pillars in Biloxi on Rodenberg in Biloxi. And I know your wife Tress is there, and we can say hello to her as well. But good morning, Austin. How are you?
Good morning, Ricky. How are you? I'm doing good. Thank you for having me.
It's great to have you. Listen, as I mentioned to you off the air, I had the opportunity when I was in high school back in the mid 70s to work for the Mladenoviches. And I really enjoyed that time there. I was a bus boy, but before that, I was a dishwasher. And I remember so well. I mean, my memory of that place is that they were great to work for. But what I remember most is that Miss Milanovich was so gracious and so sweet and just awesome to work for. She always spent time with us, wanted us to know how important we were. And we always was kind of hang out after work, and just a special lady. Now, but, White Pillars has a place in my heart. And since you reopened it after this incredibly dramatic sort of renaissance of the White Pillars, I've had the opportunity to eat there, and my experience, my wife Ann and my experience there was just absolutely incredible. And so I've been really looking forward to this conversation. And so let's start with this because we're going to go back. I love the fact that you were raised on a cattle and horse farm in Macomb. You went off to New York. Obviously you went to Ole Miss, and you've got a great story. We're going to come back to that in a second. But just in general, how are things going for you these days?
Well, things are picking back up. Yeah, it was a tough time going through the pandemic and all that kind of stuff. But business is really picking up, and we feel like things are starting to get back to normal slowly but surely. And it's feeling like the regular restaurant business again. Just the normal problems.
Well, it won't surprise you to learn. I've tried to stay in touch with a number of restaurants here in coastal Mississippi so that we can tell the story, especially today as you guys sort of wrestle with getting. And I don't know if you're having issues getting employees, but that tends to be a common theme these days. What's the status of your employment situation?
Well, we're very lucky. We kept all of our staff on during the shutdown. And I feel like that kind of paid benefits to us in the long run, and that we still have our core staff here and people that have been with us for a long time and are very good at what they do. As business is picking up, we are adding new staff, and just like everybody else, we're struggling to find good people. But we have had some luck. We've got some new guys that have come on. They're doing a good job, and we feel like that we've been lucky in that arena as well.
Well, congratulations for that, and good luck finding your new employees. The way I like to say it is that in some cases it's about reopening, in some cases it's about ramping up. I mean, the truth is that all around the world, as the pandemic starts to wane and we start to see the light at the end of the tunnel, that we're in a place we've never been before with so many different companies simultaneously looking to ramp up. We can blame it on this or blame it on that, but the reality is we're recranking the economy, and there's a wide number of jobs that are out there. We just had a job fair at SuperTalk Mississippi Media at the mall, what they call the $1 million job fair, and there's like 70 companies were involved, and a wide range of companies were involved in that, and so many different jobs from entry level positions to key positions. So we're in a place nobody's ever been before. We'll live through it. We're resilient here in coastal Mississippi, and we'll make it through. But you've got a great story to tell. Hey, and lastly, and we'll get into some of this as well, but you're sitting at the Mahogany Bar right now. Tell me about that bar.
So, it's a very, very cool part of the White Pillars. Yeah, it was here whenever we took over the building, and it's been here since 1969, but it's actually older than the building itself. It's out of the Blackstone Hotel in Chicago, and dates back to the late 1800s. It was moved down to the coast in 1959. It was in the Magic Door Saloon for 10 years, and then when the Mladenoviches opened the White Pillars in 1969, they brought it in here. So it's been in here for a while, but it actually has a pretty rich history before. And something you and I were talking about before this, it in the Blackstone Hotel, it's got a pretty cool history too. Because the Blackstone Hotel was an old haunt of one of our favorite gangsters on the coast, Al Capone. So can't say that he did sit at the bar, but also can't say that he didn't. So
Yeah,
like
well,
to think if the bar could talk, kind of thing.
well, Lucky Luciano might have sat there, Lena Horne, Teddy Roosevelt. I mean, let's come on, man. You know that. I mean, if they came there to eat, they probably came and leaned against the bar.
I would hope so.
What a great story, though. I see. I love history like that, and every corner of that place, has a story or a memento of some significant event in history. And if we have time, we'll come back to that in just a second. But you grew up in Macomb. Tell me about that.
So I grew up, like you were saying, on a cattle and horse farm with my parents, and actually just outside of Macomb. And I think it gave me an appreciation for the the work that goes into the ingredients that we use in the restaurant every day. To kind of approach them a little differently and treat them with respect and kind of let those flavors shine through. So one of the things that we try to do here is that we try to thoughtfully source our ingredients. So, it's important to know where your food comes from. We try to take it a step further and know who our food comes from and have relationships with our farmers, our fishermen, our harvesters, and that kind of thing. So we actually we're cooking for the wedding of our guy that grows our pigs this weekend. So I mean, we do make those relationships.
So you have a cool story. You went to Ole Miss for hotel and restaurant management. Then you went to culinary school at Hyde Park in New York. But what I'm interested in knowing is that during that time in Macomb, did you start to fall in love with cooking even then?
So I did at a pretty early age, and I feel like my trajectory was different than some people. I kind of got into it through the outdoors. I grew up hunting and fishing, and it was the rule on our farm that if you killed it, you eat it. And then I grew up in the Boy Scouts. I'm an Eagle Scout, and we started cooking over live fires, and we butchered our own cows and deer when we killed them, that kind of thing. And I feel like that was kind of where my interest started to grow. And then my mom is an excellent cook, and then her dad is also an excellent cook, and they're from New Orleans originally. And his mom had restaurants in the French Quarter, and so I feel like it was kind of in my blood, but my interest peaked kind of like through the outdoors. And then there was, the rest was kind of just history.
So while you were at culinary school, Tress was at the University of Southern Mississippi in nursing school. You guys ultimately got married. You ended up in Birmingham. And I was born in Birmingham, incidentally, have a lot of family there. And I was president of a media group over there that had responsibilities for Birmingham news. And so the Hot and Hot Fish Club was something I was very familiar with. Tell me about the time there.
So, it was, I almost want to say, kind of a surprise. So I was living in New Orleans right out of culinary school, and I knew that I wanted to do something, the next thing. So I started looking at some different restaurants. I looked at some in New Orleans, a few other places across the South. I knew I wanted to be in the South. Wasn't sure exactly where yet, and I went and did a stage at the Hot and Hot Fish Club, which is essentially like a working interview where you come in, you meet with the chef and the owners, and then you work a day just to see, how the fit is for not only the employer but the employee too. And I just fell in love with it. I fell in love with their approach to food and just the vibe of the restaurant in general. And I'll never forget. I called Tressie afterwards. And I said, how do you feel about moving to Birmingham? And she said, well, I'm down. And I said, okay, well, I think we're going to move to Birmingham. That was literally the extent of our conversation, and then we did.
Well, did you and she know? And I'm going to ask you this question, and we'll pick it up on the other side because we're out of time for the segment. But I'm curious if you and she knew at the time that you were going to pursue a dream of opening your own restaurant. And what's interesting about your path, you went from 0 to 60. The White Pillars is an institution. So I'm looking forward to hearing more about the commitment that you guys, the partnerships you had to develop to do this gig was a big time commitment, and it's really paid off. So we're going to hear more about that story when we come back. We're having a terrific conversation with Chef Austin Sumrall, who's the chef and owner of White Pillars on Rodenberg in Biloxi, and we'll be back after this break.
Coast View on SuperTalk 103.1 is brought to you by J. Allen Toyota on I-10 exit 38 Gulfport. See all the incredible inventory at allentoyota.com. And remember, when you think Toyota, think J. Allen Toyota.
Hey, South Mississippi, it's J. Allen at J. Allen Toyota, and I got something new for you for 2021. It's the J. Allen Certified Collection. What that means is we selected our very best inventory with under 75,000 miles, and they're 6 years old or newer. That comes with a multi-point inspection, a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty, and a 3-day buyback guarantee. So come check out the J. Allen Certified Pre-Owned Collection right here, I-10 exit 38 in Gulfport, or on allentoyota.com.
When COVID started, Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply began stocking hard-to-find PPE items. When Amazon and other mega internet companies were out of stock or inflating prices, Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply was providing local schools and businesses vital PPE supplies at fair prices. When your office needs PPE supplies, office furniture, or products to keep your business operating, consider Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply. We sell that too. Buy local.
SuperTalk Mississippi.
From outer space, visitors from another world. We've had contact with bug-eyed monsters.
This is actually a flying saucer.
Flying saucer?
I'm from another planet.
Where late nights are kind of weird.
Well, they must have a reason for their visits.
The unexplained, the weird, and the downright creepy. Coast to Coast AM with George Norrie. Late nights. SuperTalk Mississippi. If Alexa's part of your life, you've got one more way to access SuperTalk. SuperTalk Mississippi is now available on Amazon Alexa devices. Once enabled, just say, Alexa, play SuperTalk Mississippi at any time and start listening. It's that easy. Just one more way to stay informed and connected with your state. Learn more at supertalk.fm/Alexa. SuperTalk Mississippi. SuperTalk Mississippi. Now available on Amazon Alexa devices. Feeling down? Here's your prescription for a daily dose of good news and positive vibes. Good Things with Rebecca Turner. Every afternoon, Rebecca highlights all the good things happening right here in the state you call home. Daily exposure to Good Things with Rebecca Turner may cause smiling, feelings of positivity, happiness, and even laughter. When you experience these symptoms, tell your friends to listen. Okay. Weekdays starting at 2 p.m. here on SuperTalk Mississippi and now on Amazon Alexa devices.
106.3 Casino Radio is here. Tune to 106.3 to discover all of our must-see attractions and everything that's happening at our 12 incredible casino resorts. Where to eat, where to stay, what to do, and where to play. 106.3 Casino Radio has you covered with everything you need to know to help make your visit here to the coast one you'll never forget. Turn on 106.3 Casino Radio or listen now on our website, casinoradio1063.com.
This is Coast View with Ricky Mathews on SuperTalk Mississippi Gulf Coast 103.1.
When you think about the White Pillars in Biloxi, you just think about an institution. You know, even though it had closed for a number of years, there was always this dream to bring it back. And if you go back in history and you read about this home and when it was built and how substantial it is, what the Miladinoviches did with it, again, it had storms like Camille and all these challenges along the way. And then comes Austin and Trustee Sumrall, and they had this dream. And I'm kind of going back through this dream. When I say they went from 0 to 60, I really do mean that. And we're going to sort of retrace some of those steps. But their story is really inspiring. It's about restaurant entrepreneurship. It's about a commitment to coastal Mississippi. It's about finding a way to bring amazing food that is very unique. And I guess to be successful in the restaurant business today, you have to have a way that people understand and you know what your competitive advantage is. And they've really worked hard to establish that. There's so many different aspects to their restaurant. So anyway, coming back to you, Austin, or Chef Sumrall, or Chef Austin, however we want to address you. So you're in Birmingham, and I'm curious, was that dream there coming out of culinary school that you were going to do your own thing?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, even before culinary school, to be honest, we, it was always the plan to open our own restaurant, and Trusty and I have always been very goal oriented. So we actually set a goal for ourselves. The plan was to open our own restaurant by the time I was 30. So I made that by 3 months, and which is a lofty goal, but you have to set those for yourself and shoot for it. We were in Birmingham. I worked my way up in the Hot and Hot Fish Club, working for Chris Hastings, who's still a very good friend of mine. I got all the way to Chef's Cuisine, and in a chef-owned restaurant, there's really nowhere up after that. So I did that for a while, and he was pretty awesome about not only teaching me about food and cooking, but also the business side of the restaurant, and cost controls and all that stuff that you don't see, on the forefront, but is also, just as important on the back end.
Supply chain, Austin, supply chain.
Right. And so, and yeah, exactly. Like we talked about earlier, building those relationships with farmers and that kind of thing. I got to learn all of that firsthand with him. So, we decided that we wanted to open a restaurant in Mississippi. Backing up a little bit further, whenever I was in culinary school in New York, I knew I wanted to live in the South. I knew I wanted to be a chef in the South. I just, kind of had that drawback to it. Went to New Orleans, then Birmingham. Loved both of those places. Then we had a kid, and it was, kind of had this draw to come back to Mississippi. My wife is from the coast, and I'm from Macomb, and we just had this, this pull to come back. And I think it really comes from wanting to show other people and to showcase all the great things that Mississippi has to offer. We get a lot of bad rap and stereotypes and stuff like that, but the food is awesome and the people are awesome. The coast is awesome. And, we just wanted to be a part of kind of getting that on the main stage. So we started looking for restaurants in Mississippi. Tressie's mom, who was living on the coast at the time, called us about the White Pillars. She said, "You need to look into this." This is like 2 days after we decided that we're going to start looking. And so we call and get more information, and kind of like what you were saying, we're like, oh, that's a huge restaurant, maybe too much. But we'll check it out. And then we realized that we had a mutual friend that worked for Brooks Holstein, who's married to Miss Deborah Mladnich. And so, that was kind of our end to actually get to talk to him. And then it turned out that he had eaten at the Hot and Hot Fish Club about 2 weeks earlier, and I'd actually met him.
Wow.
And so he said, I've tasted your food. I've seen the way you run a kitchen. Let's take the next step. Let's see if we can make this work. And they were very particular about who came in here. They didn't want, just another, fried seafood restaurant going into their building, because they had so much love and memories in this space. They wanted to see it be something unique. And so we definitely wouldn't be where we are now without those guys, working with us and doing what they could to help us move forward. And we came and we saw the space, and I was hooked, immediately upon walking in. It's just a really cool space, and it lends itself really well to be in a fine dining restaurant. And
so also, let me say this: I had the opportunity. I've known Brooks Holstein for many, many years. He was actually had an advisory roundtable at the Sun Herald, and he was a long-term member of that. And he brought sort of an understanding about the real estate, commercial real estate division really around the country. He was just a walking statistics lesson. And I didn't learn until I did the research that Deborah was a Mladnovich. And I love it because it's just, it's a small world to begin with. And the fact that I had worked there and had so much respect for her parents. But she put a lot of, incredible interior design passion into that place, didn't she?
Absolutely. Well, when we were, fast forward a little bit, and we got terms together, and we actually moved here before we had anything signed, and just kind of jumped right into it, knowing that we were going to have to put our total effort into making it a reality. So we did that, and she offered. She's literally an award-winning interior designer. She offered, would y'all like help, doing the interior design? We're like, yeah, of course, that'd be awesome. So, we like to say it's maybe the most hemmed and hawed over interior of a restaurant of all time. Everything that you see in here had a lot of thought put into it. But we think that shows.
No, go ahead. Finish your thought.
Yeah, so we think that shows, and it's the restaurant itself is extremely beautiful. So it gives you a nice setting to enjoy your meals in, and we couldn't have done that without the building that was here already, and then Miss Debbie being right there with us doing the interior design. I mean, it's awesome. You've been in here, but it's
yeah,
really cool
for sure.
place.
I mean, if you read the descriptions, which it would take a whole show to read the descriptions of all the various elements of the design, one that I really enjoyed, always loved hearing about the tall ships coming to Ship Island, and the European ships, and having to have the ballast stones, and using the ballast stones to build one of the fireplaces there, and so many other amazing stories like the one we just told about the bar, for example. In the short time we have left, give me sort of your elevator speech on your passion for food.
So, I think we touched on it where it started, being growing up on a farm. And so, I think that starting with the ingredients, locally sourced and just as fresh as we can get them. We don't serve any seafood that's not from the Gulf because we feel like it would be cheating on us, as we can see it off of our front porch. And then, everything else we try to source as locally as we can too, so that, our work is a little bit less difficult if you start with the best ingredients. So our menu changes all the time, which keeps us excited and interested in all the chefs enjoying what they're doing. And we change the menu pretty much every day. So anytime that you come in, there should be something new and exciting to try. So, it's fun. It's definitely something that you wouldn't do unless you love this kind of thing, because it's definitely a labor of love. I still love coming here to cook every day. And, we just want to share that with people of the Gulf Coast.
Well, what's interesting, Austin, about what you say, and I say this a lot, and I had the opportunity to visit with entrepreneurs of all stripes. Because entrepreneurs, at the end of the day, small business is the thing that helps, our economy really thrive ultimately. But for an entrepreneur to be successful, first of all, it's really hard work. It's really hard work. And you can be unbelievably successful, and that doesn't mean it's not going to be still really hard work, because you have to find that zone, and that zone is where you're doing amazing. In your case, making amazing meals, and the customer service is incredible. The experience of the place is incredible, and you can't achieve success if you don't have passion. I mean, you gotta have passion. That's the one thing that most successful, if not all successful entrepreneurs share, is a passion for what they're doing. And this, you and your wife have done such a great job of creating this really magical experience for people at this institution there. And if people go for no other reason, go there and thinking of this place as sort of a museum, a museum that serves amazing food, that has a great story. And that's what I like about it. It's got all the elements, Hey, listen, we got less than a minute left. Just a closing thought on your part.
We're just thankful to be where we are. It was definitely a big thing to bite off when we started, but we've loved every second of it. We feel like the Gulf Coast is now our home, and we hope to be here for many, many years.
Well, this has been a real pleasure. I look forward to meeting you in person, but this has been Chef Austin Sumrall and his wife, Tressie, who's behind the camera, the owners of the White Pillars in Biloxi. What a great story this is. And, if you haven't been there, go there. You'll see why I have raved about what they've created there. So have a great day, Austin. And when we come back, we'll have Jeff Clark from the Mississippi Aquarium. We'll see you after this.
When COVID started, Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply began stocking very hard-to-find PPE items to make our community a safer place. When Amazon and other mega internet companies were out of stock or inflating prices, Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply was providing local schools and businesses vital PPE supplies at fair prices. They were even sending thousands of dollars of PPE supplies free to local schools in need with help from other local business leaders. The next time your office needs PPE supplies, office furniture, or products to keep your business operating, consider a local company that supports your ball teams, cheerleaders, and area homeless. Consider Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply, the local guys that keep your prices fair, your service and selection excellent, and your health our business. Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply. We sell that too. Buy local.
SuperTalk.fm has a new look and is more informative than ever with expanded Mississippi news coverage, the latest Mississippi weather, Mississippi sports, and of course, the talk that's important to you. Every show, every podcast, and every late-breaking story. Constantly updating the news the second new developments happen. All in one place. The new SuperTalk.fm.
106.3 Casino Radio is here. Tune to 106.3 to discover all of our must-see attractions and everything that's happening at our 12 incredible casino resorts. Where to eat, where to stay, what to do, and where to play. 106.3 Casino Radio has you covered with everything you need to know to help make your visit here to the coast one you'll never forget. Turn on 106.3 Casino Radio or listen now on our website, CasinoRadio1063.com.
Hey, South Mississippi, the future has arrived. It's 2021, and at J. Allen Toyota, we're here to serve you. Want to let you know that we have Allen's lifetime warranty on every new Toyota we sell. That also comes with Toyota Care. That's 2 years and 25,000 miles of complimentary maintenance. We have a great rental department. Our service department's ready to take care of your current vehicle. We're rolling out J. Allen certified pre-owned for 2021. You got to come to I-10 exit 38 right here in Gulfport. You're going to love what we have to offer. When you think Toyota, think Allen Toyota.
Feeling down? Here's your prescription for a daily dose of good news and positive vibes. Good Things with Rebecca Turner. Every afternoon, Rebecca highlights all the good things happening right here in the state you call home. Daily exposure to Good Things with Rebecca Turner may cause smiling, feelings of positivity, happiness, and even laughter. When you experience these symptoms, tell your friends to listen.
Okay.
Weekdays starting at 2 p.m. here on SuperTalk Mississippi and now on Amazon Alexa devices.
Hey, I'm Steve Azar, and you never know who or what you'll hear when I spend a Mississippi Minute with my friends. Talking to Paul Thorne, Mississippi true treasure, really incredible recording artist, singer, songwriter, has been doing it a long time, doing it the right way.
It's almost like a Forrest Gump thing because, I was a boxer, / I worked in a furniture factory, / I had a gig 2 nights a week playing my acoustic guitar in a pizza restaurant, / I was in the National Guard, and,
wow.
All this stuff was going on at the same time. / I had a writing contract with Rick Hall and Fame.
In a Mississippi Minute. Be sure to check out In a Mississippi Minute with me, Steve Azar, right here on SuperTalk Mississippi, the SuperTalk Mississippi app, and now available on iTunes, Google Play, and Stitcher.
For something new and unique in talk radio, take a listen to The Ben Shapiro Show. Every day, we're driving the debate in America with the fastest moving, hardest hitting, most comprehensive, fact-based commentary on the radio. We don't hold back. We never shy away from telling you the truth. Our show is a meeting place of ideas. We have the most important guests and the biggest thinkers in America.
Weeknights at 9.
For something new and unique in talk radio, take a listen to The Ben Shapiro Show.
On SuperTalk Mississippi. Whether you're brand new to the DIY craze or a seasoned veteran, the Handyman Show has something for you. Buddy Slowick shares tips and tricks on everything from odd jobs to complete build-outs, from small home repairs to serious construction. So no matter if you're at the master carpenter level or not quite sure how to use a level, the Handyman Show answers your questions with a healthy dose of humor and some great music too. Saturdays, 10 to noon on SuperTalk Mississippi and on SuperTalk TV.
SuperTalk Mississippi.
Just seems to me people have so much invested in not telling the truth.
When you want the truth.
Simply because it might hurt some feelings.
And nothing but the truth.
Lose some subscribers.
You want the Gallo Radio Show.
I just think in this audience, you still believe that if you tell the truth, you come out ahead.
The Gallo Radio Show.
And if you tell yourself otherwise, you're lying to yourself.
Mornings on SuperTalk Mississippi.
His love for the coast is why he's here. It's Coast View with Ricky Mathews on SuperTalk Mississippi Gulf Coast 103.1.
Welcome back to Coast View. I love it when I start this show and I say that I'm celebrating the men and women who are making coastal Mississippi such an amazing place to live, work, and play. And I said this before a few months ago. Someone said to me one day when they said, okay, it's going to be a long format show. Coast View is going to spend either an hour with someone or certainly not less than 20 something minutes with someone. So we'll either have one person a show or two people a show. You're going to burn through people really quickly. What are you going to do when you don't have anyone else to talk to? And I came from the newspaper world, and I already knew going into this that for every guest I have, 3 or 4 more guests are going to pop up. It's just there really are an unlimited number of people that we can talk to tell their stories. Kyle and I have had over 500 conversations in more than a year now. And we have just so many more. I mean, it's so interesting. Cammie, who's the producer, a content producer of the show, and I are working through a very long list of potential guests at any given time. And, people like Austin Sumrall and his wife, Tressie, that I just had a conversation with from the White Pillars in Biloxi. What a great story that is. This iconic, building and the work that they did working with Deborah, whose family was a Mladenovich family, and she's married to Brooks Holstein here on the coast. But the passion they all have for creating this a great place. What a great story it is. And there's really so much history in that place. And when we come back to Austin in a few weeks, we'll come back and talk more about that history and the supply chain they've developed. Just incredible. But there's so many stories. There's an unlimited number of stories. And the guy who knows that well is my next guest. Jeff Clark is currently the communications manager at the Mississippi Aquarium, but he's the former entertainment writer at the Sun Herald. And he did a stint as a public information officer for Harrison County, which is the most recent position he had before he moved over to the Mississippi Aquarium. But Jeff, isn't it true that there are so many stories to tell? You lift up a rock and 5 more stories pop out.
Absolutely, man. I mean, I love the Mississippi Gulf Coast, coastal Mississippi. There's so many interesting people here, and everyone has a great story. And that's one of the things that really keeps me here and makes it unique and a great place to raise a family.
Yeah, actually, so funny because you and I connected while you were at the Sun Herald, and you were doing your social media stuff. I was reading you, and just I still pay a lot of attention to the Sun Herald today because I love the institution, and I came to know about you that you've got such a great past. And an interesting past, and that you and your son Charlie do this program, this internet program called At Home with Charlie and Dad. And I asked you guys to come on. You live over in Pass Christian, and you told me the story, and we were able to direct people there. You're on Facebook and YouTube, and you kind of Instagram TV, and we got to meet Charlie. But that was a lot of fun, and you just told me you're going to have some kind of an annual look back, but kind of bring us up to date on all that.
So the quick version of it is there was a point in March of 2020 when we were quarantined, my entire family, myself, my wife, Dana, who's a school teacher, and our son Charlie, who was 5 at the time. So I needed something to do. And So I approached Charlie. I was like, hey, Charlie, what if we make like a little TV series, thinking it would just kind of be like a one-off, sort of a way to make people a little happier during a really hard time. And we did it, and the response was really good, and Charlie loved doing it. So we put out in 2020, we put out 13 episodes, and we're going to do another one. We're going to drop one soon. That'll be our year anniversary show, and we're really excited about it.
I love following you because you and your wife and Charlie, I think if you had to say there's a principle in your family, if there's a principle that exists in your family besides loving family and getting the most out of life, which hopefully we all do, is to have fun. I mean, you guys just love to have fun, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's just going by so quickly. Charlie's 6 now. He'll be graduating kindergarten and going into the first grade. So, and I turned 50 in 2020. Dana and I sort of got started later at this. So I'm just trying to make every minute count.
I read something at the beginning of my show today. I want to read it to you and just get your reaction to it. But it's from Anthony Hopkins. And there's so much truth to this. But here's what it says. None of us are getting out of here alive. So please stop treating yourself like an afterthought. Eat the delicious food. Walk in the sunshine. Jump in the ocean. Say the truth that you're carrying in your heart like a hidden treasure. Be silly. Be kind. Be weird. There's no time for anything else. And of course, that was Anthony Hopkins. But you had heart surgery along the way. You've had to sort of face life's challenges, but probably no one understands living for today and appreciating life and what's around you more than you do.
Yeah, it's you go through things in life, and it just prepares you for the next phase if you're lucky enough to get there. I mean, I can't eat all of the delicious food anymore because of my heart, and we try to have a very healthy diet for the most part, that kind of stuff. But I don't know, I really enjoy spending time with my wife and my son. I love them. They're my best friends. And, for a lot of people during COVID, it was, I guess a lot of people sort of went a little bit, to use the phrase, stir crazy of being inside and cabin fever and stuff. But for me, it was a great time. My family, we really bonded. We really came together. And, there's no other people that I'd rather spend my time with.
I feel exactly the same way. I can't tell you how much I appreciate what you're saying. And I think a lot of people in coastal Mississippi feel that way. We had all these disasters, and I talk about this a lot, but they define us and they remind us what in life is important, et cetera. But the pandemic, because, really, if you remember at the beginning of the pandemic, getting COVID was almost like a death sentence. We were scared to death of it. We didn't know what we were dealing with. And then as we began to understand more and we realized we could keep our families safe and, all of that, but it was a lot of time for reflection, a lot of time to think about,
man.
What in life around us is so important. And certainly, that so well. Hey, what's interesting about your new position? When I think about being head of sort of public affairs and communications there at the Mississippi Aquarium, incidentally, I think you're standing outside now. Those are the palms we see in the background for the Facebook and YouTube audience or the SuperTalk TV audience. But what's interesting is that if you think about your time working in entertainment and then being an entertainment writer at the Sun Herald, and then going over to the Harrison County as their public information officer, those experiences really kind of like prepared you for this moment, didn't it?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, everything is just the next step or the next journey. I enjoyed my time. The Harrison County Board of Supervisors. I was their first public information officer. I'll always have that badge of honor and be proud of that. But, politics, and people in that position, you look at former President Donald Trump, former President Obama, the people that they have that are their spokespersons or their press secretaries or whatever, it's they do it for a while and then they go back into the private sector. And, I enjoyed my time there and I'm glad to be in this next phase.
Yeah. And this next phase is a good one because as I've had conversations with people from the aquarium, the aquarium opened up. I mean, here's this like nearly $100 million investment by the state and the city and private investors and all these people who contributed to make this a success. It had to open up during the pandemic. And then it had all these hurricane scares, and then it had Hurricane Zeta, and man, it could not have faced more adversity. But now we see the light at the end of the tunnel, the pandemic, people are getting vaccinated. As I say on the show a lot, people have a pep in their step. I'm sure you see that too when people are there. But the numbers are good. You're still metering. You can explain that in just a second, but it's not like wide open. You're really concerned about people's health and safety, et cetera. But the numbers are really good, and people are just eager to get there, aren't they?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, school isn't out yet, so I mean, there's still a lot of space during the weekdays. Although we do have a lot of people that come out Monday through Friday, but our weekends are starting to do really well, and we're hoping that's just going to be the trend going into the summer. People took a year off, or were forced to take a year off, basically. So we're hoping our visitors, from North Mississippi, from Mobile, from all over the South, are going to come back down to coastal Mississippi, visit our casinos, the Beau Rivage, or other spots, and come here to the Mississippi Aquarium and make memories with their family.
Yeah, I know, and you get an opportunity to see that every single day.
Absolutely.
So when we come back with Jeff in the final segment of the show, I want Jeff to give me a look at the cafe he's sitting at now. We're going to actually test the Wi-Fi, because I'm going to ask him to flip his phone around and just take us on a quick walk, and we'll talk about what's going on at the aquarium. It's possible we'll lose Wi-Fi signal, so Kyle and I will chime in until we can get Jeff reconnected. But we're going to have a little bit of fun, and I've got a really important question to ask Jeff about something I've heard about a hamburger there at the cafe he's sitting at. So we'll be back after this break.
You can also listen live to SuperTalk Mississippi Gulf Coast 103.1 on your Amazon Alexa devices. Once you've enabled the skill, just say, Alexa, open SuperTalk Mississippi Gulf Coast.
106.3 Casino Radio is here. Tune to 106.3 to discover all of our must-see attractions and everything that's happening at our 12 incredible casino resorts. Where to eat, where to stay, what to do, and where to play. 106.3 Casino Radio has you covered with everything you need to know to help make your visit here to the coast one you'll never forget. Turn on 106.3 Casino Radio or listen now on our website, CasinoRadio1063.com.
Hey, South Mississippi, it's Jay Allen at Jay Allen Toyota, and I got something new for you for 2021. It's the Jay Allen Certified Collection. What that means is we selected our very best inventory with under 75,000 miles, and they're 6 years old or newer. That comes with a multi-point inspection, a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty, and a 3-day buyback guarantee. So come check out the Jay Allen Certified Pre-Owned Collection right here, I-10 exit 38 in Gulfport, or on allentoyota.com.
SuperTalk.fm has a new look and is more informative than ever with expanded Mississippi news coverage, the latest Mississippi weather, Mississippi sports, and of course, the talk that's important to you. Every show, every podcast, and every late-breaking story. Constantly updating the news the second new developments happen. All in one place. The new SuperTalk.fm.
SuperTalk Mississippi.
Just seems to me people have so much invested in not telling the truth.
When you want the truth.
Simply because it might hurt some feelings.
And nothing but the truth.
Lose some subscribers.
You want the Gallo Radio Show.
I just think in this audience, you still believe that if you tell the truth, you come out ahead.
The Gallo Radio Show.
And if you tell yourself otherwise, you're lying to yourself.
Mornings on SuperTalk Mississippi.
When COVID started, Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply began stocking hard-to-find PPE items. When Amazon and other mega internet companies were out of stock or inflating prices, Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply was providing local schools and businesses vital PPE supplies at fair prices. When your office needs PPE supplies, office furniture, or products to keep your business operating, consider Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply. We sell that too. Buy local.
And now, it's Coast View with Ricky Mathews. Brought to you by J. Allen Toyota, Gulf Coast Business Supply, and AGJ Systems and Networks on Super Talk 103.1 FM.
Well, back to Coast View. Here we are in the final segment. We have my friend Jeff Clark, who's head of communications and public affairs at the Mississippi Aquarium. He's got a great story that we just discussed in the first half of the segment. But what I did is I asked Jeff, we're going to test the Wi-Fi here. There's a possibility we'll lose him, but if we do, that's fine. Kyle and I'll fill in until we get him reconnected again. But what I wanted Jeff to show are the iconic structures that are out in front of the aquarium. Tell us what we're looking at, Jeff.
So these are our 3 sails that you'll see. This is going to be the first thing you see when you come to the campus of the Mississippi Aquarium. The sails were presented by Island View Casino. They represent the 3 pillars of our mission statement, which is education, conservation, and community. And that's our mission statement in a nutshell. We have many, many educational programs. We're always trying to promote conservation through sea turtle rehab and release, our Save the Penguins program. And then, we are so happy to be an active part of the community of coastal Mississippi.
Hey, the next thing that really stuck out to me in terms of that campus. Now, turn toward the Gulfport Small Craft Harbor. What's unique about the way that this, first of all, the space where this is located, and the architecture that was deployed here. The goal was to kind of take advantage of the amazing views of the aquarium. So, looking out over Jones Park. The amazing view of the Gulfport Small Craft Harbor. That's one of the benefits of going to this beautiful campus. And flip us around to the cafe for a second. Jeff actually started the show sitting at the Pelican Point Cafe. And Jeff, I heard that there's a special hamburger there. Is that true?
Yeah, absolutely. We have the food at the Pelican Point Cafe is really, really good, but we have something that's called our Shark Bite Burger. It's a double cheeseburger. It has a house-made barbecue sauce on it, lettuce and tomatoes. And I'm willing to bet dollars to donuts it will stack up against any hamburger on the Mississippi Gulf Coast and coastal Mississippi. It's that good.
And given the fact, and listen, that's saying a lot. Now I know you work there and you want to be proud of it, but I also know you to be intellectually honest and also super authentic, and you've also done your share of restaurant reviews, etc. You should know. And then, as we can see there to the left, there's a caged area there that is the Aviary Center. Show that real quick. And
yeah, this is our aviary. We have exotic birds. You can walk the boardwalk around all the way around campus to where the dolphin habitat is, or you can go through the aviary and the dolphin habitat's on the other side. If
you turn and go back toward the other direction, you're going to move toward the crocodile habitat. And then what I like about this has really been a good part of the Mississippi Aquarium, the way that it's built. So there are indoor aspects to it, and then there are outdoor aspects to it. And that's really enabled them to be able to kind of pace the flow of attendance such that people can have social distancing and feel safe and all of those things. But what Jeff is doing now for the radio audience is just kind of walking along a sidewalk that kind of meanders around, and he's walking up to the crocodile habitat, and we're looking at what I think is one or two of them actually laying up on a rock there. But that's a pretty popular area right there, isn't it, Jeff?
Right. Yeah, right when you first come in, we have crocodiles. We have 2 American crocodiles immediately to your right, and then to the left, which is where we are right now, we have our alligator habitat. We have 5 alligators in here, and this is what they do. People come in and they're like, "Oh, are they even alive?" Well, our alligators, they have health care. Basically, they're well fed. They have to exhibit no energy. This is what they do. So.
Yeah, we could all wish for such a life. Hey, start taking a walk down toward where the freshwater exhibit is, and sure. We may not get there, or we may lose Wi-Fi, but let's give it a shot. What we're looking at there, though, is the actual aquarium itself. We actually tested that, and the Wi-Fi signal gets a little bit squirrely going into the Aquatic Wonders building. But what a beautiful building that is. And, I've had the opportunity to be there. The aquarium is really incredible. It's beautiful. So many.
We want to thank our friends Tommy Murphy and Cindy Duvall and all of our friends at Mississippi Power for presenting our Aquatic Wonders building.
Yeah, Tommy Murphy, old neighbor friend of mine. He just recently got a big promotion at Mississippi Power. Had Anthony Wilson, the president of Mississippi Power Company, and we got to talk about that. But I'm looking at gars and other freshwater species, and I think the intention here was to sort of educate people on the connection between freshwater from the Mississippi River, for example, and how it flows out into the Mississippi Sound, and then ultimately to the salt water. They really kind of show all aspects of that, and that was the intention of what you're looking at now, right, Jeff?
Yeah. So our whole model is from brown to blue. So this is our freshwater river that runs through the entire campus, east to west, west to east. It's full of alligator gar, catfish, fish that you're going to find in bayous and estuaries and stuff here along the Mississippi Gulf Coast.
So continue to walk. We probably have about a minute left, but just continue to walk and just hold the phone out like that. Then we'll enjoy kind of the views for people who haven't been there before. They can kind of get a sense of things. But again, it's really nicely spaced out, and we probably won't get there before the coast view is over for today. But if we were to continue to walk on around this sort of meandering sidewalk along the water there,
I'm going to go back this way, Ricky, because we did some repairs by our otter habitat yesterday.
Yeah.
We had some poles removed that were damaged by Hurricane Zeta, and those poles had Wi-Fi hotspots in them, and I can feel my Wi-Fi fading as we go because
if Jeff were to have continued in the direction that he was going, he would eventually actually get to the porpoise exhibit. And anyway, you get a sense. If you haven't been there before, it's just a beautiful campus. Well,
it's cool, man. I mean, you can see the Markham Building and downtown Gulfport. Park. It's an open air campus for the most part, which makes it a very unique aquarium experience.
Yeah.
So it's a very, very lovely view here.
Well, Jeff, you're a good friend of mine. Then to coach you, it's been a pleasure not only visiting with you, but kind of testing what is it like for a radio show to walk around and keep the conversation flowing so people who are on social media or YouTube or SuperTalk TV can see it. But I appreciate your time, buddy.
I appreciate it, and I think when the day comes that you and I run out of things to talk about, I don't think that day is going to happen.
There's so much content, man. I know that for sure. It's been a pleasure. I look forward to seeing you again, my friend.
All right, thanks, man.
Have a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Follow SuperTalk Mississippi Gulf Coast 103.1 on Facebook. Facebook.com/SuperTalk MS Coast 103.1.